New Yorkers who live in the city's rent-controlled apartments are bracing for tomorrow's vote from the Rent Guidelines Board. That panel expected to okay increases.
And while the vote is only preliminary, many think that rent hikes are inevitable. As Linda Schmidt explains, it comes at a time when both tenants and landlords are facing increased costs on just about everything.
Tenants living in rent-stabilized apartments here in the city could end up seeing their rents going up by as much as 4.5% on one-year leases and as high as 9% on two-year leases. Mercedes Escato is a retired social worker and takes care of her 84-year-old mother who is bedridden. She currently pays more than $1,400 a month for her rent-stabilized two-bedroom, one-bath apartment near the South Bronx. She says she cannot afford a rent increase.
I don't know what's going to happen if they're going to, well, I will be evicted with me and my mother she's bedbound. It's going to be terrible for us.
People are really struggling right now.
Andrea Shapiro is with a tenants' rights organization and says any rent increase for rent-regulated apartments in the city would be devastating.
Many people still haven't actually been able to get full-time jobs yet. After our COVID recession.
Chris Athenaeus and his family own multiple small apartment buildings in Brooklyn. He says the Rent Guidelines Board must raise rents to help landlords.
Costs have just skyrocketed. Fuel has gone up. We have a lot of mandates from the city council, like new energy efficiencies, lead paint abatement, facade improvements.
The organization that represents 25,000 landlords says building owners have suffered during the pandemic.
Building owners were still required to pay all of their expenses, mortgages, property taxes, water bills, heating expenses. And in addition to that, all of those expenses went up over the last 2 years.
But Sam Stein, a housing policy analyst, says rent increases will put people out on the streets.
We already have hundreds of thousands of people in the queue in eviction courts, and we cannot have more.
Linda Schmidt, Fox 5 News.